There you go, colleagues have delivered. The ministers here. Before you take your seats, go straight into the national anthem. As I said, Sizaminda Beskat. So let's work together. Hit us. Thank you so much, colleagues. We're going to gallop through the program for the purposes of today. Just today only. My name is going to be Colin Msibi. I'm going to direct the program. Minister, I think you are one of the, in fact, you are the first minister to bring the beneficiaries of our bursaries under one roof. And that shows, I've been in government for 25 years. In the 25 years, and 17 years in transport, it's the first time that it happens. So I think that really does deserve a round of applause, colleagues. And that is why it's called Razmatas. Yes, so colleagues, I was talking to one colleague of mine, former colleague of mine, who works for the higher education ministry. And he indicated that they received, listen to this carefully, they received 900,000 applications for NSFAS. So you can imagine, if you have the special dispensation for transport like this, you are very lucky. So you should be very, very grateful for that. So colleagues, I'm not going to be long. As I told you, hey, I'm tired. I was at Konka last night, so I'm just going to be quick. In fact, this morning I wanted to call the minister and say, Minister, can I skip this one? Because I wish I were at Konka. Okay, Sabawen. Okay, colleagues, without further ado, what I'll ask our Acting Director General, Mr. Mthunzi Madia, to come on stage. So we have, as part of the our panel, or the entourage of the minister, we have the Acting Director General, Mr. Mthunzi Madia. We also have the Acting COO, Chief Operations Officer of the department, Mr. Adam Masombuga. And then there's reps that represents you here. And it is Nomfundo Kuzwayo and Isaac Sihlangu. Isaiah Sihlangu. So those are the people who are going to speak on your behalf. So without further ado, Acting Director General, please, quick and fast.
Thank you, Program Director. Honorable Minister and Honorable Deputy Minister, our valuable stakeholders, bursary holders that have been issued by the Department of Transport, you are most welcome, and thanks for making time to come and share this day with us. Particularly to our very important persons, the lady and the gentleman that are going to speak on behalf of all the bursary holders. I think for me, Minister and Deputy Minister, is just to talk on the purpose of today's event, which is for the Minister and the Deputy Minister to meet with all of you. It is also the intention of the Department of Transport as a sponsor to keep in touch with its students on a regular basis, hence in the coming 2022 and 2023 financial year, which is starting in 3 weeks' time. The directorate that is led by Advocate Masomboga and Umama Umaleka, which is responsible for managing this program, will work with you on building our further and strong client base, including our alumni from this program, just to make sure that it does not end from the issuance of bursaries. The Department of Transport is a complex department with its main modes of transport. It's aviation. We want this program to produce aviators. The lady from UKZN says she wants to be marina. We also want to produce, develop the maritime sector because as a country we are a maritime nation. We've got public roads, we want the policymakers, we've got roads, we want engineers that are all going to be able to build these roads and sustain and maintain them. You've got the rail sector that we are also responsible for as a department. So I'm not talking about ITC, I'm not talking about supporting sectors, I'm just talking about those core modes of transport that we are responsible as a department. So it is our hope that this program is going to be able to sustain those modes. And then it is through these initiatives that we'll be able to do that. I will then, thanks Program Director. I think I've covered the purpose of today. Thank you.
Thank you, Acting DG. It's just such a coincidence that, you know, this airport, the OR Tambo Airport, the first flight that took off at this airport was in 1952. And at the time, I think it was called Jan Smuts Jan Smuts Airport. But that happened on the day when it was opened. It was supposed to have been called Highveld Airport. So they changed on the day because Jan Smuts was there, then it was called Jan Smuts Airport. It is only later on when the new dawn came, the government decided that we cannot call airports using people's names. So it was then changed to Johannesburg Airport. And then the policy then changed to say, look, we need to honor our stalwarts. And that's when, I think it was in 2006, when the then President Thabo Mbeki was there to rename the airport to OR Tambo Airport. And that is why we have OR Tambo. But before we came to OR Tambo, it was the Rand airport was the airport around 1911 and so forth. And then they moved, you know where Thokoza is and Katlehong? It used to be an airport actually. It was called Palmsfontein. It was an air base. So that's where it was launched. While this one was being built, the flights were landing there. So it's such an interesting history, which I think it is important for you to know, to research these things. It is important for you. So without further ado, Minister, I would want to call upon the students who are going to represent their colleagues who are here. We're going to start with Nomfundo. Nomfundo has studied the Bachelor of Law in UKZN, and then did also the postgraduate diploma in maritime studies in the UKZN, and there's also Master of Commerce in maritime studies, and an admitted attorney of the High Court. Yes, sir. And then we have Isaiah Sihlangu. He has a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, Applied Information in Transport from the University of Pardubice, Czech Republic. You missed the Russia-Ukraine by just an inch. And then he also has a Master's in Information and Communication Engineering at the Dalian Maritime University in China. And then he's currently working for the one and only Department of Transport National in the Information Systems section. So I would like to call them upon the podium, both of them at the same time, so that they can make it quick and fast. We don't have time.
Sanmanan. My name is Nomfundo Kuzwayo. I'm a young 25-year-old lady. I grew up in a township called Lamondville, Etegwini. Matriculated in 2014. Thereafter, I went to UKZN to study my LLB, after which I decided that I would like to become a shipping lawyer. So I decided to do postgraduate studies in postgraduate diploma in maritime studies, and I am currently completing my master's in commerce in maritime studies. Thank you. So at the time of registering, I had no funds or even plans for funds, and I'm sure that's the story of everyone in this room. It was during this time that I received the news that I'd be a recipient of the Department of Transport bursary, for which I'd applied. They will also be sponsoring me for the Masters of Commerce. So there's a great need for skilled individuals in our society who shall be appropriately and efficiently be able to develop and create strategies which may improve our skill set, knowledge, and abilities in order to be able to implement progressive trade methods and compete on a global stage. And since South Africa is situated on one of the busiest international sea routes critical to international maritime transportation, its geographical location presents a huge opportunity for us. Economic globalization, the complexities of world commerce, and the practicalities of trade distribution network, and the ramifications of global landscape must all be understood. And this is where our government needs to put in more resources in order for successful implementation to be carried out in the Sea Transport Department. So I've fortunately been able to analyze and discuss important, real, and relevant topics based on extensive research, and all of this was with the help of the Department of Transport bursary. So in such industries, it's typical to find that the youth are scarcely given an opportunity to prove their competence, innovation, and willingness to participate. Not only do you find that there is a lack of inclusion, but there is also a lack of support for such individuals who seek to pursue these careers. So for individuals such as myself who came from previously disadvantaged backgrounds and had needed funding even for undergraduate studies, it is particularly difficult. So that's why I'm really grateful that I got that bursary from the Department of Transport. because the sponsorship enabled us to pursue our passions, as I believe our studies are more than just a qualification to be used to find employment. I personally believe that they're an opportunity to have a real hand in change in this country. And I would like to do that for both the legal fraternity and now in transportational development. So on that note, I'd like to thank the Department of Transport for putting in place those measures where even ordinary people like me can be able to stand here and speak to all of you guys about being able to study with no added pressure and even that opportunity to be able to study. I hope that the bursary can continue to assist individuals, including myself, as I pursue my master's, and that even more opportunities will be presented for us as the youth in terms of employment. Thank you.
Nemeng hao? Nemen hao? Okay, I just wanted to break ice a bit. Okay, Dobro den, student. Good afternoon, good day. That was me saying hello to you in Chinese and both in Czech language. Well, I'm going to try to be very short and sweet. Just like majority of you here, I'm from the village in Anjinkon, Mpumalanga. Grew up very poor. I'm one of those rags to riches type of stories. Well, I'm not rich, I'm just saying. Well, the department has done for me. I am standing here because of the Department of Transport. I'm one of the students that got lucky back in 2008. We were sent to the Czech Republic in Prague to go and study various different transport qualifications. So I spent about 5 Christmas there and 6 New Years in the Czech Republic pursuing my bachelor's degrees in applied informatics in transport. While I was over there, I had an opportunity to go and study in the Republic of Turkey for 6 months as an exchange student. So that was also because of the Department of Transport scholarship to go and study in the Czech Republic. In Turkey, I enrolled at the university called the Anadolu University for a 6 months period. Well, in 2014, I came back to the country and I got one of the few to get lucky to do my internship at the Department of Transport. And upon completion, I was lucky, there was a vacancy, I got employment. So that's where I am now. I'm working there full time under the Transport Information Sector section as elaborated. Currently, I am doing my master's. The Honorable Minister here in late August approved for me to go and study master's in the People's Republic of China in a city called Dalian, in the university named Dalian Maritime University. That's where I'm currently. I just finished my dissertation. I'm hoping to graduate in June of this year. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, colleagues, dudes. You guys are the only people that I know, the 2000s. They call an old man, hey, dude. Strange. Yeah. Look, moving right along, just some historic information I think is important. You know that the very first rail line that the country had was opened in 1860. It was a 3.2 kilometer line from the town of Durban to the Durban Harbour. It was the very first one by the Natal Railway Company. And the second one was in Cape Town, which was supposed to be a 72-kilometer line from Cape Town to Wellington, but they ended up opening it at Easter Rivier, so which was the second one. After that, then there was just a proliferation of the lines, including the one from Pretoria to what was called then the Lorenzo Marquez, which is now called Maputo. So, and then Pretoria to Johannesburg came. So then there was this huge network, which then they put under government ownership, and then the entity was then formed, which is today called Transnet, but then it was called South African Railways and Harbors. So I think it is important to know these things because it informs where you are going. You need to know where you come from and where you are going. The apartheid, the colonialism and so forth, but the reality is that the economy of the country rides at the back of the transport system, including the railway lines. And then the issue of the e-tolls, where did they come? It was the National Roads Act, which was amended in 1983. And then we started tolling as a country in 1984 with the Tsitsikama Road. And that's when the tolling of the road started. And then, as you know, the history now, we are tolling so many other roads. So that is important for you in particular, so that when you focus on your studies, you also do understand where the history, where we come from, including the issue of why there was this investment in the rail, because including this part code, the part code that you see today, it was actually the black owners, some of the black owners of the buses and so forth. Then the apartheid government decided, no, we can't have these people. And then they took those away and they formed what they call the Public Utility Company, which is PADCO means Public Utility Company. And that is PADCO. It was formed in 1945. So it was these buses that were taken from black people, some of them. And then they oppressed the taxi operators today. Minister, you would know that there was this commission, it was, I think it's a recent commission, which had recommended that the subsidy of the taxi owners must happen with the 20% of the revenue. And it never happened. So the issue of the subsidy of the taxi industry came a long way since then with that, I think it was around 1940 or 1945. Until now, we're still speaking the same, and the minister is fixing that. With that said, Wasikolapo, our next speaker, the Deputy Minister, very passionate about what is happening here, supporting students, and very passionate about empowerment of women. You tell her that, then you can sit here the whole day. And I mean, I'm going to the whole day, Deputy Minister. So we're going to ask the Deputy Minister to come and give a message of support.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Uzoitola kanjani? Hlele khoneni. Uzoitola kanjani? Uhlele khoneni? Ayithola kahle. Program Director, Mr. Colin Msibi, our Minister of Transport, Honorable Fikile Mbalula, Minister's advisors, Mr. Lawrence Fikile and Mr. Kaiser Koza, Acting Director General, Mr. Mthunzi Madia, Acting Chief Operations Officer, Advocate Adam Masombuka, the Chief of Staff in the Ministry, Mr. Lichake, the Executive Head in the Office of the Deputy Minister, Mrs. Zandile Mtembu, Director of Human Resource Development, Ms. Diana Maleka, all senior managers and staff from the Department of Transport, our distinguished program coordinators from institutions of higher learning, our very own honored bursary recipients from various universities, universities of technology and technical vocational education and training colleges, those who are here with us here today, and those who are joining us online, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Psychologists and philosophers say that the capacity to learn is a gift, the ability to learn is a skill, and the willingness to learn is a choice. And the process of learning is the fundamental method of social progress and reform. And I hope we're all here today because we have made a very important decision on choosing willingly to learn. I warmly welcome you to this vibrant province of Gauteng and to the city of Johannesburg, affluent with great possibilities, and to the Department of Transport, where we call ourselves, and with pride, that we are the heartbeat of South Africa's economic growth and, of course, social development. Program Director, let me take this opportunity to greet all of you at this very special and historic engagement between the Minister of Transport and the bursary recipients funded through the partnership that exists between our department and the various institutions of higher learning. I must say that you all really look very outstandingly beautiful. Fresh and beautiful. I cannot wait to see you adorned in your stately black academic regalia, ready to be conferred as graduates. Which, of course, will be a proof of your hard work committed to achieving the best out of the programs that you are pursuing. Program Director, this day records a very notable period in the history of this department, as we get to witness the significant advances made to ensure that we build a capable, capacitated, ethical and developmental state, which this government regard as its first priority. The training and skills development agenda of government finds expression in a number of collaborative and partnership agreements that many government sector departments have or have entered into with various institutions of higher learning. Our minister will speak more on these issues. I will therefore not go there. However, I just want to remind you that our very first president in this South Africa, I'm talking about the democratic South Africa, Ubaba Uholihlahla Nelson Mandela once said, and I want to quote him. He said, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. The power of education extends beyond the development of skills we need for economic success. It can contribute to nation building and reconciliation. No country can really develop unless its citizens are educated, because education is the great engine of personal development. It is through education that the daughter of a peasant can become a doctor, that the son of a mine worker can become the head of the mine, that a child of farm worker can become the president of a great nation. It is what we make out of what we have, not what we are given, that separates one person from another. Therefore, our young people must take it upon themselves to ensure that they receive the highest education possible so that they can represent us well in the future as future leaders," unquote. The very quote that I've just read arises from the Freedom Charter and the Freedom Charter tenets, which is the blueprint of South Africa's freedom, and the existing education policies, which include scholarship and bursary education program opportunities that you are beneficiaries of today. The Freedom Charter tenet says, I just want to quote it, "The doors of learning and culture shall be open," which simply means that basic education shall be free, compulsory, universal and equal for all children. But it further means that higher education and technical training shall be opened to all by means of state allowances and scholarships awarded on the basis of merits. And President Zimande always emphasized the point of merits. And that is exactly what is happening. Today you are seated here as bursary recipients of scholarships afforded to you by the democratic government led by the African National Congress. it is important that I do inform you that these opportunities were never available for the African child. They were never available to us. They were exclusively kept for the minority few. Instead, we who stand in front of you, myself included, we were offered Bantu education, which some of us are a product of that. And that was consciously designed to produce out of us an African majority which would have no skills either than to perform manual tasks. And it is for that reason that in South Africa, when you talk about somebody who is working, we mean somebody who wakes up and do some work somewhere, because that is the indoctrination that we grew up under. Today, we are being indoctrinated by those who oppressed us to believe that the democratic government has done nothing for us. They try to make even those who are direct beneficiaries to believe such propaganda. And I say to you, you are the very active, live, and direct evidence of what this government has and continues to do to advance the education, training, and skills development and youth empowerment agenda. This we do as this government, despite the limited resources and many competing demands and challenges that we face as a developing country. In fact, in 1994, we brought about the political victory and an end to colonial and white minority rule in our country. And we began the process of transforming South Africa into a non-racial, non-sexist, democratic, prosperous, and united nation. Even today, and even tomorrow, we will be diligently eradicating the legacy of colonialism and apartheid, which is a strategic task that we have and continuously engrossed with. But Program Director, at this point, allow me to conduct the task I have been graciously asked to perform today, that of introducing our Minister of Transport. And I'm definitely going to do that. Some of you have seen our minister on TV. Some of you follow him on Twitter and other social media platforms. But today, you have been given an opportunity of meeting the Minister of Transport in person. This is Minister Fikile Mbalula, the former president of the ANC Youth League, who laid a firm political foundation for the young people of this country, conscientizing them not to be swayed by false political dogmas. As the president of the ANC Youth League, he will always be remembered for his activism and revolutionary teachings, which were geared to bring consciousness and alertness to the youth, especially learners and students, on issues of political activism, education, political discussions, umkhabulo, and mobilization. During his tenure, he taught young people quite a number of important lessons and principles. To list but a few, as president of the ANC Youth League, he inculcated a consciousness to question the sanctity of life without dignity and commit to fighting system that was socially engineered for the depletion of human rights of the black people, especially the youth. He taught the youth that the strategic objective of their struggle for access to education was very clear, their tactics distinct and well-defined. He made them to understand that the struggle continues. He taught them to be a youth that reads not only academic material, which is important, but also about our national democratic revolution in an effort to ensure that the youth is not easily misled. He taught them to be a youth that values education, shares information and conscientize their peers of the inherent legacy of oppression and its resultant realities in the South Africa we live in today. As the president of the ANC Youth League, he emphasized the need to have young progressive intellectuals who must understand that they have an acute role to play in teaching our youth. That is, how to assume the position of a true learner and learn through active participation and collective advancement about the needs of our people and how this can be addressed effectively. And I took all this from his speeches. He engaged young intellectuals to perform their strategic role in the prevailing political environment to explain to our youth what is meant by people's power and categorically appropriate how to advance the people's power in our communities in this day and age. He demanded attention from the ANC mother body for all of us, and in fact for all, to use our combined revolutionary acumen to listen better to the voice of our youth. He provided leadership and guidance to the youth and other groups of young activists, mostly students, giving them a platform to participate, voice out their ideas to assert their position in their agenda of collective advancement. He imparted a true culture of what is meant by a patriotic, conscientized youth, a youth that understands that they must have an unwavering commitment and responsibility to support, defend their country and its interest with devotion. A patriotic youth that is intelligent with character, energetic, disciplined, united, confident, objective, talented, that sees opportunities and know that they are a national pride and a treasured future that will position South Africa to be the best among the continental and global community, and in fact, global community of nations. Even today, Comrade Minister Fikile Mbalula, the former president of the ANC Youth League, still remains an unsurpassed monumental figure that represents a disciplined radical youth activism era that had a singular focus, that is to advance youth empowerment. Ladies and gentlemen, it is that person who is the Minister of Transport, himself a graduate, who has called you today to engage with you. Yet another proof of everything I've just said about his teachings. Minister, I'm told that some of the students have put forward a request to get an opportunity to take individual photos with the minister. I can imagine. Twitter will be abuzz with Minister Mbalula trending on different profiles. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and stand with me and give a round of applause as we welcome the Minister of Transport, Honorable Fikile Mbalula.
It's already fixed.
Thank you, Program Director, Deputy Minister of Transport, Mesindi Chikunga, Watinta Bafazi, Watinti Mbogoto, Uzagufa, finish and clear. You strike a woman, you strike the rock. Acting Director General, Mr. Mtunzi Madia, and all staff from the department present here, and everyone who made this possible today. I have invited you today to share with you our vision, insofar as it relates to the opportunities your studies open up as productive citizens of our nation. Transport is a critical driver of economic activity and enables access to social amenities and infrastructure. We have a chronic shortage of critical skills in the sector, which we seek to close through the bursary scheme, of which you are the beneficiaries. And I had an opportunity to speak to one of the beneficiaries who came up here and to speak, and I asked her, where are you, what are you doing? She told me she's still at school and all of that. And you know, the skill that she seeks to acquire through her studies, it's a skill that no black person will easily get. is only in a democratic dispensation. But we need to get them as and when they are at school to come and get the experience in our different entities. So my approach here today is that all of you, wherever you are, every year I want a report. Where are you? Where have you been placed? How have you been assisted? So that we don't just give bursaries for people who are just going to add to numbers of unemployment in our country. So that is as simple as that, and that is my message. And that is why I ask, how much do we spend on bursaries in the department? I was told up to date, acting DG, if I'm correct, 59 million. That has been spent. Maybe per annum we spend around 12 million to support the students. Others are not here. Then I ask, where are these people? And then they said, no, they are placed. I say, I want to see them so that it's not just a bursary scheme for friends, a bursary scheme for families, but a bursary scheme of South African youth who want to prosper and to become better citizens of our country. And this is what is propelling us forward as a government. We don't want in the next 30 years to be importing skill. We must sharpen the skill here at home through our institutions. And then here is a man who comes from Czech Republic. And then when he talked Czech Republic, I remember one person I arrested and is still in jail from Czech Republic. Some crook who came from Bedford View. And he was trying to escape all the time, but some Shayamato. So, dangerous people, Czech Republic. But he comes from there, supported by the department. I'm sure now he knows Mandarin because he studied a little bit of Chinese. But this is what freedom was about. Freedom was about this. Freedom was about prosperity. Freedom was about ensuring that each one of us, as we make education fashionable, but at the same time we have access to opportunities that have been brought about by freedom. And that is what is important. So I am very delighted, Deputy Minister and staff at DoT, to see so many young, fresh, educated young people of our country. We are building a nation of conscious people. And this thing that young people don't care. Not all of us we will end up becoming Borikiriki. We have one. Riki has a special talent. Caspar has a special talent. He didn't finish his studies, but he's perfecting in singing. But all of us, we must be educated. And not all of us will play football. Not all of us we will become Miss South Africa. Even though majority were beautiful, but will not all of us qualify to become Miss South Africa. But the base for everything is education. And for you to be educated, that is why, among others, there was fees must fall movement in this country. And young people taking to the streets and fighting and say fees must fall. Education must be free. And when you count the numbers in terms of NSFAS, we've got beneficiaries, but you are the advanced brigade. Can you imagine how many are clamoring and want to be where you are and are still in the periphery? Not everybody wants to be in the periphery. They are not there by design. Some of them are there because of early teenage pregnancy and drop out of school. And the problem of South African youth is a problem in terms of youth development of disengaged youth. And then earlier on in the years, they said that we are marginalized youth. We said we are not marginalized. we fought for our freedom. And we took up everything at our disposal and defied all the odds and took to the streets for this country to be free. And that is why there was Free the Children campaign. And I'm one of those people who was the face of Free the Children campaign in South Africa. And we were arrested, and the BUA said that we don't have children in jail. And Max Coleman, may his soul rest in peace, he's the one who went all over South Africa and in jail and said South Africa has incarcerated kids who are supposed to be at school. And they fetched us from school and took us to prison in solitary confinement. You live in a country where nobody can fetch you from school. You've got to be educated and take advantage. I'm very impressed to stand here today. I shed tears because when a young woman speaks like she was speaking here, then I see this is what we fought for. This is what we fought for. We didn't fight to become laborers. We fought that freedom can be meaningful to us. Everyone who wants to be a pilot can be a pilot and be supported. And this government is what it's all about. And I'm very grateful and I'm very happy to see this. And I know other departments do the same work. And I know that here at the Department of Transport, this work has been continuing, and we must continue to do this work. It must not be marred with corruption and favoritism. For as much as we can lend our hand and get all those young people to study what they want and with specialized skill, we will never go to Philippines looking for artisans. We will build them here in the Republic of South Africa. And that is what freedom means for us. Yes, we love things. When you are youth, you must be exuberant. You must display pleasure and life, so that when you are 40 like me, you don't have a challenge that you want to do things that you were supposed to do when you were young. No, you know, you must be exuberant. You must love life. You must enjoy it. But at the same time, loving life must not mean stagnation. When you have an opportunity, you must go to Konka and have fun. But you must not drown in Konka. All right? When you have an opportunity and you are at the right age, you must have fun and have a boyfriend, have a girlfriend, but do not fall into pregnancy when you have not fulfilled your dreams. And men must not dominate girls to get into this trap of being impregnated, and then they stay at home and young boys continue with their education. So, you are the advanced brigade. You are the light of this nation. And you must not, when you are 40 like me and 50, then you are found at Konka. Ulwanela ditulo mo. And then you want to be young. No, you must say, no, I'm just doing it like me because I'm young at heart. But I'm not doing it because I'm competing with you. You must enjoy life whilst it presents itself. You must enjoy life so that at the right time you get the right man. Not when you are supposed to get the right man, you look like your mother, your sister, or nkhono. You are born. And then no, this is my time, it has arrived. And then even the young boys must know that, no, this is our time. And then I can have a girlfriend, I can have a woman I can stay with, I will look after, and we'll work together going into the future. That is the nation we're building. We come from families that were broken because of apartheid. No sound family foundation. You wake up, you go to school, Nobody's teaching you about menstruation. Nobody's teaching you about possibility of getting pregnant. Your parents, all what they want is for you to succeed. When you come back home and you are pregnant, they beat you up. But they never taught you. And yet you cannot fall pregnant if you are taught. But you come from a family whose the household is the father. The household is the mother. He's everything in the household. So we never come from families, even if your mother and father are still alive, but we never, most of us came from families where in which people are enlightened and we get to be educated about challenges of life. Everything we were taught and we gained in life, it was in the street. And it was through our teachers at school. That's why they became our role models. We didn't get it anywhere. That's where we get it. But your next parent is education. Because when you are educated, nothing will happen to you because you know everything. So those are the challenges of life. And those are the challenges we had to endure, we continue to endure. But we are not victims still. We are not marginalized. We want to work and do things for ourselves. We don't want Sasa, Mudende. No. Mudende could have taken us to school, but nah, Mudende. I want to do stuff for myself. And that is why this bursary scheme is important in Tatema Sombuka and the acting DG and the deputy minister. It's not a favor that government is doing for you. It is what government is obligated to do. And to educate, to ensure that you get educated. You are placed accordingly. We must never say we've got 85% of white pilots in this country, and yet we've got money to spend on black pilots, which we must train. That obligation is on us. Some of these studies you are doing are very expensive. Very. It's like some students who are doing actuarial science and all of that. That thing is not cheap. That is why you only have a particular race group in this country that specializes in those studies. It is because they are fully backed up. From family, there is a base. You know, I was a minister of sports. And Ezekiel Sipeng said that I became a champion and an Olympic medalist. But if I can tell you my achievement from school to university, it was Holy Spirit. Through Holy Spirit. I just made it because it's me. I didn't have a father who was ensuring from 6 years old that my talent is leaning towards running athletics and supported me. I was raised by a mother. I speak to Charlotte Claus. Charlotte Claus says to me, from when I was 5, my parents took responsibility to make it a point that I become a champion. And I know how to swim. So this notion and the myth that black people can't swim, it's not because we can't swim because others were born with supernatural things in them. And it is because we were not exposed to opportunities. And what do you do when you are exposed to opportunities? You grab them. Like there's like no tomorrow. Like you grab the opportunity, you guys are doing it. And that is what I've learned through life and even been in that department. And that is why we talk about, when we talk about equity, we say that we have not been exposed to opportunities equally. So there is no question that rugby can only be played by white people. The question is, the opportunities that Mbalula is exposed to in Soweto don't expose me to rugby. They expose me to conquer. I'm a specialist there. Because conquer is just next door. But Van der Merwe is exposed right from school, right from family to rugby. And that you can rugby PLJ. You are going to play cricket. But now in the democratic dispensation, if your mother is not a minister, is not a school principal and all of that, you will not go to the best schools. So the public schools are meant for the reserve force of the black African people. So, black men, you are on your own. We must kill that notion. House Negro, whatever that it is, we must kill it. We must do things on our own and succeed and become who we want to be in life. So, when I conclude, I just want to say to you that in this Department of Transport, Deputy Minister, we are going to ensure that, and I'm going to get a report. Kana ngubani igama lakho mama ke? Malika. Mama Malika is a director. Kena responsible for Lunam. And Ntate Masumbuka, thank you, Monu regularly suti and chat today. Is our acting COO. That one is our acting DG who's playing with the phone when the minister is speaking. He's very busy. Yeah, DGs are busy, you must understand. They are very, very busy. Because after this meeting, I want a report about something from him. But where we started before we came here, we started somewhere at the Road Accident Fund. And then we came here, and then we left Cape Town this morning at 6 a.m. and we landed and went to Road Accident Fund. From there, we came here. So, what I want, not complicated, big English rubbish, no. What I want to know every child who's a beneficiary of our bursary scheme, where are they placed? Because we say here when we speak, you are studying specialized skills. Agir? So if you are in maritime, I want to see you at SAMSA. We place you there. Whilst you are still at school, you get our bursary, but you are there. So when you finish your degree, there's no question that you never had an experience. You have experience, you can be employed. Right there, go straight. So, and this is our annual interaction, and maybe next time we'll make it more interesting. More interesting because I want you to come with your parents next time. So that when I talk to you and the deputy minister, your parents are present. And then Rikato Ahebusiu, Ribitsebo Kaspa Batlo mesmerize. Because when you study and you don't have that 10% of fun, but there are those who don't even go to conquer. They are just straight. Straight. It's just fixed on education. And there are these ones who get drunk, but come examination. Hey! Number one. And then that gives you this definition, that Aritwan, there is a genius that doesn't need to work hard. He just studies something once, I share. Ufedite is not going to go back. And then there is that one. I see her the cop. Mare, when you want to chikele ko yona 100 times. So, nako ya konka utsantu vele 5% because how competent you number one, uto wa butuku. Because wala utaba jaiva luena and when I was Allah. Yale arna luxury mo chunye ya bazari ufidana le dom cop. So nobody was born as a dom cop, but you change from a dom cop, you are a hard worker. You work hard. So those are categories. Now I used to go to school with people I remember one time we were arrested and we were in solitary confinement and we were released. And then when we were released, the following day when we got to school, we were writing mathematics. And then there was this guy, Baraki Church, Askapasa mathematics. So Ronaria failed because transfer time teacher repel, Arablele or Evan, Agripanto education in Ruta, the local Mitzilating, Wabon, hypotenuse, retrieve Rekajuam. So our teachers are come up when you can't. Whatever, only textbook fella on your own. Chachi and I didn't need a teacher. Textbook alone, u better 50, 100 over 100. So neritziba already category tseo, but we were under pressure because we not pass because Rona Koskolung were characterized as people who were basically just bringing confusion, who don't have future. So and about feed up onto education, useless. This thing is not education. You are not studying Bantu education today. You are studying progressive education. It can have its own limitations, but you are not living in Bantu education. This country is full of possibilities. And we did not come and call you here to indoctrinate you. You are free to think and make up your mind. I really root education ya indoctrination. Ya ulisa go di military camp really ruta ka mzabalazo. Mzabalazo la iponela le lona hore re ko kae ka mzabalazo. Ya wala re bona le rona hore mare le shape ye wa e bona wo o jile papa sa le monyane. So la iponela lona, you are living in a free world where in which you can make up your mind but you are empowered. And then that is what you must take advantage of. So what I want from each one of you is that report. And then next year, when we meet like this, I want you to plan it now. You come with your parents. Okay? Not both of them, one of them. And then and then next year, if so next year, President waka yena motho ang hirileng aga irwa ke na makgwa mangata lekgwa la ka ke Ramaphosa ena o ngetella pele monate man ya o ntshwere monate ntato wa bona le deputy minister wa mona le wena o tshwareile monate. So next year when I'm still minister and then we come and meet here ke tlo le fa report ore out of this number ya lona the following have been placed. Ke yona report e ke batlang. So that scholar next year, repeat until I won last year. I'm coming with something new. Ya no ke le fa progress or 15 of you or 100 of you have been placed successfully in our entities, and then you are doing internship at the same time you are still at school. So I just want to conclude and say to you, good luck, work hard. I'm excited that we have this in our country. So many young people who are beneficiaries and who are eager to learn and become better. Our economy is going to grow, and at the same time, you are going to climb the ladder. The history of this country on a daily basis is being rewritten. And then it is going to be a true non-racial South Africa. Utlo bona batho ba bantsho ko metsing, maritime. Utlo bona batho ba bantsho in aviation. You are going to see black people everywhere in those skills that were not meant for us. Not because we cannot do them, because the system was unfair on us. And this is what we want to achieve. So if we are not achieving that, we must know that we are not making it. As long as we are still counting up to 10 actuaries in the whole of South Africa, we must know that freedom is not yet provided. And that's what we want to achieve, the actuary, the art, because there are so many intelligent people in our country and young people who are prepared to work and work very hard. So let us not distort the youth of South Africa and make it something else that it is not from other young people. We are the same. Young people are not a homogeneous entity. Arnani ka utshwana. Omung u strong ka bolo, omung u strong ka unana. But like I said, if you forget everything I've said, the base is education. We are not a homogeneous entity. Not everybody want to go to Conga. Nakirata kereke. Wabon. Wampona ke motho wa di talente tse ngata. Nakirata kereke. every Sunday ke go kerekeng nna ke tsamaya dilo tsa kereke kaofela wa bona. And then the other one, so how sheba konka le dominance mo social media o tlo tloa o nagana gore no everybody go Twitter, o nagane gore no Twitter ke South Africa, and yet batho ba ba mo Twitter mo South Africa fela they are not more than 6 million, they are less than that. Mara ha o ba sheba mo le ba bolela o ka ba nagana gore South Africa kaofela e go Twitter because wa trenda. Nna nkile ka trenda mo just to bua ka Beyonce ka ke bitswa Minister Beyonce. King problem a ke rata Beyonce but Jay-Z a ka nna lo robalanyana man, so a ke na bothata ba ntho eo. So otherwise Beyonce wa ka ke mo sile go ntlong o teng, so ha ona problem. So we've got to understand that. So ke a leboha too much, ke a leboha mme and your team. Ke a leboha Tate Masombuka le sutu ya o entle today ka ro ka dula o apara sutu every day. Thank you very much. I think we must give them a good round of applause. But I want to thank all of you, and then me and you, we've got an appointment. Agir? Yeah, la nna ke sa le bone kaofela la re feta mo re tsamanteng o no re chief ke nna ole mo departmenteng ya o ska re lebala, so that I must not forget. And then I want to thank every one of you and wish you good luck in your journey, which is not easy, but we've got you. You are covered. Really, 2 hands. Raudwan, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Deputy Minister and the Minister, for the address. Minister, I've got a Chief of Staff who's sitting on my neck on the time, so we need to move faster. And I think we need to do a change of program, but I want to confirm with you, Minister, because this Q&A is also important. We thought we would take students from the floor just to say a few words or ask questions, but because of time, I don't think we should be able to do so over lunch. So we'll do it over lunch. There is the DJ, there's my boss. There's nothing I can do. So we'll do that over lunch. So what's going to happen now, we're going to take the...
I think these things can be done. These people are young people, so we must use the space of social media. So I suppose all of you are on social media. The communication and interaction must continue. But not like only on Twitter. You are about 300 here or whatever, 100. We can have a big WhatsApp group of all the students. And then we communicate there, we talk. And then the minister, deputy minister can answer your questions, the DG, the challenges that we've got. The conversation must continue. So we are young people, we must use the space of social media and all of that to communicate. So that we don't confine ourselves like old people know we'll talk over lunch. No, we are not old, we are young. So we'll meet and then we talk and then we'll DM you, we'll do all of those things. But at the end of the day, your problems our department will talk over lunch. You forget that he's talking to the youth.
Okay, thanks, Minister. I think if you can make us trend, #transport bursaries. You know what to do. Make us trend today. Okay, thank you so much, Minister, for that, for the guidance. I mean, that was a profound speech, and I think it deserves another round of applause from you. And honestly, just to add on what the Minister was saying, you know, this thing of actual science, can you believe that the country only has 1,200 of them? So that tells you something. So it is important that we push, so that, I must admit, I'm the beneficiary of the ANC. I just have to admit it. Because in 1995, when I first came to Pretoria, it was only because of the ANC, to be honest. We were sitting in meetings, like public works, Where the mundo mnyama, what a hey, Labantu, they can do anything. Emitting changes into Afrikaans all of a sudden. So we went through quite a difficult period. Minister, I'm glad that today you were able to be honest, because always when we go to events, you are saying you are the youngest person. So in the presence of the young people, you are now changing. You are saying you are young at heart. So he's always saying. So I was even thinking maybe when he was the Minister of Sport, then he adopted this soccer player age. You know, soccer players, they never grow. It's always 28. Okay, colleagues, I mean, just to come to a close, we're going to ask the acting coup to just give us a line in terms of the vote of thanks. If you can just be so quick and fast, time is out.
Thank you, Program Director. Let me take this opportunity also to thank and greet also the Minister of Transport, Mr. Fikile Mbalula, the Deputy Minister of Transport, Ms. Ndisiwe Chikunga, Acting Director General, Mr. Mthunzi Madia, and also greet you, fellow students, colleagues, and all protocols observed. Let me start by quoting an African proverb which provides as follows, open quotes. If you want to move mountains tomorrow, you must start by lifting stones today. Program Director, being the captain, or close quotes. Program Director, being the captain of this ship for the whole program, we all arrive safely in our destination. Acting Director General, as the accounting officer, you set the tone for this event and set the moment for the day. Thank you very much, Acting Director General. Student Representative, Ms. Kuzwayo, thank you for availing yourself to represent your colleagues, some of whom you don't even know. That is a sign of maturity which is much appreciated. Fellow students, a quote from Nora Robert which provides as follows, open quotes. If you don't go after what you want, you will never have it. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. And if you don't step forward, you are always in the same place, close quote. As the department, we appreciate the value and value your availability to come and meet with our principals. Remember that the leadership are your sponsors. This is the first event of this kind, but surely it is only the beginning of the great things to come. Minister, in our midst, we've got the lecturers and university personnel. We've got Professor Philip Kama Des from University of KwaZulu-Natal. We've got Mr. Besutu Shafe from University of Fort Hare. Mr. Lindani Hensam Njangase, a lecturer from Durban University of Technology. We've got Mr. Sipongwana from Tshwane University of Technology. In the bursary is a bursary administrator there. We appreciate your service in the implementation of DoT capacity development programs. Because of your passion, you deem it fit to accompany your students. We don't have enough ways to thank you, but keep up the good spirit. For the alumni and DoT employee, that is Mr. Sikhangu, we thank you for sharing your experience and your journey. You really challenge us to embark on our lifelong learning as a path to success. Quote, success doesn't rush. The greatest reward is the journey. These are the words from Jeff Moore. Program Director will proceed with our vote of thanks. For the Minister, you were and still are in this skills development journey with us that is for the Deputy Minister. You were and still are in the skills development journey with us as the Directorate. We together visited Wits University during 2017-2018 to negotiate a partnership for the aeronautical engineers. Today, some of them are here with us. We conducted a roundtable discussion with third-year students from Northwest University some time back, and also on and so on. The list is endless. Today, you are still sitting with us in this journey. We appreciate your support and we thank you endlessly. Honorable Minister, We thank you for the idea behind this occasion. If it was not you, we would not have these students here today. We thank you for the inspiring words to students. For the exhibitors, we extend our words of gratitude to our valuable exhibitors who are always available when their service is required. We know it was a short notice, but you managed to join us for this wonderful occasion. For the organizers of the events, let me extend my gratitude to the organizers. You provided a selfless service to this event. I know if it was not an easy task given the time frame given. I'm referring to all stakeholders involved. That is the team from HRD and PMDS, communications, our IT team, security service, employee health and wellness. Program Director, I thank you.
Thanks so much, Ku, Acting Ku, for those words, a vote of thanks. Here's what's going to happen now, but before maybe I say this, I'm glad that the minister, at least he spoke for me. You know, when we were planning for this event, I said, Acting DG, can't we, after this session, go somewhere, maybe to Konga or something? And then the DG said, have you taken your medication? So here's what's going to happen, colleagues. We've come to the end of the program, but we do need to have the optics, the pictures taken. That's what's going to happen now with the minister and the deputy minister and the DG. So we are requested, when you leave, go to the garden in front of the hotel. That's where the pictures are going to be taken. You have to break yourself into 50, a group of 50, because it's about 200, I'm told, of you. So if you can group yourself 50-50, we're going to take 4 pics, because we don't have time. There are people who are rushing for a 3 o'clock flight, I'm told. So we really don't have the luxury of time. And then thereafter, we then go to lunch, and lunch is just downstairs here. So we're going to have to do that. Colleagues, thank you so much. We're going to see you next year. I hope I'll get this gig next year. If not, I'll still be here. Thank you.